بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وبعد. Prioritizing what is most important and then what is less important is something that experts will tell you in any field. If I'm going about my day and I have certain things that I need to finish, one is I have some very important tasks related to my work. I have to get it done by the end of the day. But on that list also is I need to go to the gym. If there's a short amount of time, the gym is something I can sacrifice, but I need to make sure I get my work done. Prioritizing is part and parcel of our day-to-day schedule. In the Sharia, in Islam, there is a very similar concept. In a hadith Qudsi, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He tells us that in order to get close to Allah, there are two things we need to do. The first and most important thing are those things that are fard upon us. My salah, my hajj, my zakah, obviously the kalima, fasting in Ramadan. These are the most important steps I need to take. Once I have done that, the cherry on the top, the icing on the cake, is that I increase my nawafil. The reason I mentioned this brief introduction is, as we've been talking about zakah for the past few sessions, the first we talked about how giving in zakah is somebody taking a burden off my shoulder and making the journey to Allah easier for me. The second we spoke about how giving in zakah purifies my shortcomings and my sins. The third thing that we need to remember is giving in zakah is the greatest form of sadaqah that I can give. Give you an analogy. If, for instance, I miss my Isha Salah or I miss my Fajr Salah and the whole day I am only praying nawafil, I put all that nafil on one side and I put my Isha Salah on the other side, you can't compare the two. In Ramadan, without any excuse, I decide not to fast. The whole year, if I fast nafil, it does not compare to that one fast that I missed. In a similar fashion, you want to spend money for good causes, right? I want to spend on the poor. I want to give sadaqah for this. I see a noble cause, so I want to give it. These are all great and we definitely should do these things. But remember, priorities. My zakah will get me so much reward. If I cheat, if I try to cut around the edges, you know how you're trying to skim around the edges? If I do that with my zakah for $1, even if I give $1,000 in sadaqah, the two cannot compare. The equivalent they give is, I have a job. I have to be at my workplace from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock, no compromise. One day I decide not to show up, but at 3 o'clock when everybody left the office, I'm cleaning the windows. I'm sweeping the floor. Will I get paid? Absolutely not. Your job is from 8 to 3. Why are you coming after hours? You have a particular responsibility. Our zakah is the same. Sometimes we give money for this, we give money for that, we spend on our family, whatever the case, that's all great. But the most reward, the lion's share of reward comes in giving zakah. Sometimes when we're giving zakah, we're like, okay, I have this responsibility, let me just discharge of it. No. Every dollar that I give in zakah is more valuable in the sight of Allah than thousands of dollars I give in just normal sadaqah. Why? Because zakah is a responsibility. I'm not saying we should leave out sadaqah, absolutely not. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says two parts of the journey. The most important steps are your fara'id, then the final steps happen through the nawafil, the icing on the cake. If I have a cake, if I just give you the cake, you'll eat it, but you need that icing for it to be presentable and tasty. So nawafil and fara'id are the same. You have the cake, you have the icing and the cherry on top. We need both in order to have a beautiful presentation on the Day of Judgment. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to inspire us to give our zakah, find pleasure in giving zakah, and give every penny that is due on my shoulder for zakah, and reap the rewards in the afterlife, inshaAllah. After the remaining sunan, we will have our hadith session, weekly hadith session. Everyone is requested to participate. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.